The message appeared on my screen at 2:17 a.m. We've noticed your shipping address is within 2.3 miles of Cincinnati Police Department, District 3. Officer Mercer, we strongly advise you to stop all marketplace activity. My blood froze. I wasn't a police officer. I wasn't undercover. I was just a diabetic trying not to die. My name is Alex Mercer. I'm 34 years old, a freelance graphic designer living in Cincinnati. No employer, no health insurance. And after being diagnosed with type 1 diabetes, I learned very quickly that insulin in America isn't medicine. It's a luxury. Every month the price climbed higher. $600, $800, over $1,000. I started rationing doses, skipping injections, feeling dizzy, confused, sometimes collapsing on my couch, wondering if I'd wake up. That's when my cousin Tyler mentioned an alternative. People buy meds online all the time, he said casually. Overseas pharmacies, darker markets, you just need the right browser. 2 days later, he sent instructions. Tor, crypto wallet, encrypted marketplaces. He made it sound boring, normal, like online shopping with extra steps. The first site looked professional, almost comforting. Clean interface, user reviews, vendor ratings, and insulin everywhere. Novolog, Humalog, Lantus, all for a fraction of what I was paying. I convinced myself it wasn't really illegal, just a workaround for a broken system. My first order was small, 2 vials, Bitcoin sent to escrow, delivery to a P.O. box I rented just in case. 5 days later, the package arrived. Ice packs, sealed vials, perfect condition, and it worked. For 3 months, nothing went wrong. I bought insulin, then blood pressure meds for my grandmother. I left good reviews. Vendors trusted me. I trusted them. I relaxed. I stopped using public Wi-Fi, reused crypto addresses, kept the Tor browser on my main laptop. That's when the message came, the one calling me Officer Mercer. Panicking, I replied immediately, explained everything, my illness, my desperation, the misunderstanding. The response came back within minutes. Lying compromises operational security. Your accounts are flagged. You are blacklisted. I deleted everything. Moved my remaining crypto. Told myself I was lucky. That this was my warning to stop before things got worse. I was wrong. A week later, my phone buzzed with a text from an unknown number. Alexander James Mercer, 1422 Oakwood Avenue, Apartment 3B. Your grandmother Rose still lives with you, correct? My hand started shaking. Insulin users shouldn't skip doses. Dangerous for everyone in the household. That night, if you're enjoying this story so far, make sure you're subscribed. These real-world horror stories only get darker, and you won't want to miss what happens next. I called Tyler in a whisper, terrified someone could hear me inside my own apartment. They know everything, I said. My address, grandma, everything. He tried to calm me down. They're bluffing, fishing, just don't respond. 3 days later, an envelope arrived. Inside were printed screenshots of every order I'd ever placed. Photos of me at the P.O. box. The last page held a handwritten note. Officer Mercer, resignations don't erase debts. That night, someone entered my apartment. Nothing was stolen, nothing damaged. But on my pillow sat a police badge. Not mine. It belonged to a real Cincinnati narcotics detective named James Mercer. That's when I understood the mistake. My name had put me on a watch list meant for someone else. And in their world, that mistake was a death sentence. Over the next week, the warnings escalated. My car was broken into, another stolen police badge left on the seat. Flowers arrived at my hotel with a card referencing my grandmother's health. A man walked into our room, smiling, pretending to be a friend of my cousin. He knew about the police report I'd filed that same day. They were watching the police. He offered a solution: $50,000 in cryptocurrency, or my grandmother's house. When he left, he reminded me how easily diabetic shock could look like intoxication, especially in elderly patients. That night, I realized there was no misunderstanding left to clear up. They were never going to believe I wasn't law enforcement. I turned myself in. I walked into the FBI office and told them everything: the marketplace, the threats, the mistaken identity, Tyler's disappearance. I handed over my devices, my wallets, my freedom. 3 days later, Tyler was found alive, beaten, dehydrated, but alive. The people who targeted me weren't just vendors. They were part of a larger criminal network using the marketplace as camouflage. My persistence, my desperation, had convinced them I was gathering evidence. 6 months later, I stood in court. 18 months in federal prison, reduced sentence. As the judge spoke, I felt relief instead of fear. My grandmother's medication would be covered. She'd be safe. That night in my cell, I thought about how it all started. Not with greed, not with curiosity, but with survival. The darkest horror wasn't the dark web itself. It was realizing that in places ruled by paranoia, being mistaken for the wrong person can destroy your life. And sometimes, the price of survival is everything else. The chat message appeared beneath the live video feed. Fresh viewer detected. IP logged. My stomach dropped. On the screen was a hotel room. A man in a business suit stood near the bed, unpacking his suitcase, completely unaware that he was being watched. Not recorded. Watched. Live. My name is Alex Mercer. Until 27 days ago, my life was painfully normal. I was a junior IT technician at an insurance company in Minneapolis. Rent, student loans, awkward crushes on coworkers, that was my reality. That night, I was just trying to prove my roommate wrong. Tyler had mentioned a controversial documentary that had been erased from the internet. As the tech guy, I took it personally. After he went to sleep, I kept digging. Forums, links, dead ends. Eventually, curiosity led me somewhere darker. Tor browser, VPN, a link that looked promising. Instead of a documentary, the page loaded a live stream labeled Room 417 Live. I should have closed it immediately. Instead, I noticed the chat. Username scrolled by. Ghost admin, new fish, Vexation 88, payment confirmed, Corvid 7, proceeding at 3 o'clock. Spectre, fresh meat in the audience. Then the message that made my blood run cold. IP logged. I slammed my laptop shut and shut it down completely. My heart raced as I told myself it was nothing. Just trolls. Just scare tactics. The next morning, my work email contained a notice from IT security. Unusual network activity detected from your home IP address. The investigation had been assigned to me. That night, I received a text from an unknown number. Enjoying the show, Alex? Room 417 misses you. Over the next few days, strange things happened. My social media accounts liked posts I'd never seen. My email drafts folder filled with messages I hadn't written. My Amazon account searched for hidden cameras. Then Tyler showed me an email. It was sent from me, filled with disturbing links and images. I almost called the cops, he said. I hadn't sent it. Someone was wearing my identity. I filed a police report. The officer listened politely, but without a direct threat, there was nothing they could do. That night, Tyler disappeared. Around midnight, I received an email containing only a video link. The footage showed my living room. My living room. Filmed from inside the bookshelf. The camera angle shifted. Now it showed me, sitting on the couch, watching the video. I spun around and found it. A tiny lens between two books. I destroyed it, then found two more. My phone buzzed. That wasn't very nice, Alex. We were enjoying getting to know you. The next day, my boss called. Alex, HR wants to speak with you. Don't come in. By afternoon, the police knocked on my hotel door. Tyler had been reported missing. His car was found abandoned, and I was the last person to see him. They searched our apartment. No cameras, no tampering. But they found Tyler's phone hidden under my mattress, and a notebook filled with surveillance notes, written in handwriting that looked exactly like mine. I was released, but I was now a person of interest. That night, another message arrived. A new live stream. Tyler was tied to a chair. A timestamp confirmed it was real. Below the video, a message appeared. The game is more fun with stakes. You have 72 hours before viewers vote on his finale. Every clue they sent me led to public places. A locker at a bus station. A table in a library. USB drives. Each one revealing pieces of something called the Spectator Club. A network where wealthy viewers paid to watch and influence people's lives through hidden surveillance. Some scenarios were harmless, others ended badly, very badly. On the third day, the final clue led me to an abandoned warehouse. Inside was a room marked with a number painted on the door. 417 cameras, lights, a chair, a laptop already running. The chat window opened. Ghost admin. Welcome to the audition. The camera light turned on. I was live. Viewers joined rapidly. 19, 20, 21. A door opened behind me. Tyler stumbled in, alive, confused. They said you planned this, he whispered. Some kind of show. Before I could answer, 3 figures wearing white masks entered. One held up a phone. On it was a live feed of Tyler's girlfriend, bound in another room. Participation phase, the tallest figure said. Choose, subject or producer. I copied files from the laptop, thousands of videos, evidence of everything. I handed Tyler the flash drive. Run, get this to the police. The masked figure stepped aside and let him leave. The screen showed Tyler reaching his car. Then, an explosion. Fire lit up the warehouse. Disappointing, the figure said calmly. We expected better audience awareness. Tyler's girlfriend appeared on screen, unbound, removing stage makeup. It was all scripted, all of it. They hadn't found me by accident. They had chosen me, tested me, used me. As the masked figures approached, I saw the viewer count. 417. I finally understood. I wasn't the hero. I wasn't the investigator. I was just content. Another room number. Another performance. And somewhere, unseen spectators were already waiting for the next one. The police were already at my parents' house when my phone vibrated. Reconsider my offer. Everyone deserves a second chance. I didn't need to check the number. I already knew who it was. My name is Alex Chen. 3 months ago, I was a computer science student with a scholarship, a 3.7 GPA, and a future that made sense. Internships, certifications, a clean record. Now I'm hiding in cheap motels, paying cash, waiting for the knock that ends everything. It started with a mistake so small it felt harmless. His name was Calvin Reed, campus royalty, star quarterback, son of a state senator. We shared a class freshman year, and during a group presentation I corrected him, politely, publicly. He smiled, and from that moment on, my life started collapsing. Study groups stopped inviting me. Project partners backed out. Then rumors spread. Cheating, hacking, selling drugs. None of it true. But truth didn't matter. Fake screenshots appeared. Messages that looked like mine. Confessions, plagiarism, threats. They spread across campus overnight. My scholarship was flagged. My campus IT job was suspended. Friends stopped answering my messages. I reported it. Campus security suggested I adjust my privacy settings. The ethics board found no pattern of harassment. That's when I made my worst decision. I went looking for help where I shouldn't have. The dark web wasn't foreign to me. I knew how to be careful. New laptop, VPN chains, anonymous wallet. I told myself I just wanted evidence, not revenge. After days of searching, I found a profile. Azrael, verified, highly rated, specializing in information acquisition and reputation management. I contacted him. I asked for proof that Calvin was behind the smear campaign. His reply came fast, professional, cold, and terrifying. He listed my device name, my university network, the pages I'd visited that week. Then he asked if I wanted him to continue. I sent the money. Within hours, Azrael delivered everything. Metadata from edited screenshots, logs showing Calvin's access, even an audio recording of him bragging about ruining my life. It was perfect. I should have taken it straight to the university. Instead, I asked one more question. What would it cost to make sure everyone sees this? There was a pause. Then Azrael replied, "Think carefully. This path has consequences." I didn't care. The evidence went public the next morning. Emails, group chats, faculty forums. By the end of the week, Calvin was suspended pending investigation. I felt powerful, vindicated. Then Azrael messaged again. Phase 1 complete. Payment required for Phase 2. I told him there was no Phase 2. I blocked him. 3 days later, my life imploded. Pornographic content appeared on my accounts. Extremist posts under my name. University databases accessed using my credentials. I was suspended. My bank accounts were drained in hundreds of small transactions. Loans appeared in my name. My apartment locks were changed after my threatening emails to management. Even my parents weren't spared. Their security cameras activated at night. Their credit cards declined. My father's car mysteriously failed. I went completely offline. Cash, prepaid phone, no Wi-Fi. It didn't matter. Azrael found me anyway. When I begged him to stop, he finally told me the truth. This isn't about money, it's about potential. He wanted to recruit me, to teach me, to turn me into him. I refused. The next day, police arrived at my parents' house with a warrant, child exploitation material, cloud accounts in my name, digital evidence that was flawless. I ran. Now I exist between places. No identity, no future. Calvin? He's back at school. The investigation cleared him. New evidence suggested he had been framed. Yesterday, I replied to Azrael's last message. What would I need to do? The answer was instant. Apply your talents as I applied mine. I finally understand what he did. He didn't destroy me out of anger. He dismantled my life piece by piece until becoming like him felt like the only option left. Victim to perpetrator, student to predator. Tonight I check out of this motel for the last time. Not because I'm giving up, but because Alex Chen is gone. And something far worse is about to take his place. At 3:12 a.m., someone tested my apartment door, slowly, deliberately. I was standing in my kitchen, holding a glass of water, when the handle moved. Not a drunk neighbor, not an accident. Someone knew exactly where they were. My name is Allison Richards. I'm a security analyst. I spend my life tracking intrusions, tracing breaches, and warning companies about threats they never see coming. I never imagined the threat would walk straight into my life. It started with a package, no return address, my name, my apartment number. Inside was a portable external hard drive and a handwritten note. "Keep this safe, it's everything. M." No explanation, no context. I couldn't think of anyone in my life who still went by an initial. But professional instinct wouldn't let me ignore it. I didn't connect it to my main computer. I used an old offline laptop, isolated, no Wi-Fi, no Bluetooth. The drive contained a single encrypted folder. After 5 failed password attempts, a text file opened automatically. "If you're reading this, I'm probably dead. Password, your first pet plus the street you grew up on." My hands froze. Someone knew me. I typed the password. The folder opened. What I saw inside made it hard to breathe. Photographs of young women in hotel rooms, vacant eyes, forced smiles, each image paired with spreadsheets listing names, ages, locations, services, prices. This wasn't porn. It was inventory, a trafficking database. I shut the laptop and locked it in a drawer. Every instinct screamed to call the FBI immediately, but the personalization terrified me. This wasn't a random drop. Someone had chosen me. That night, I didn't sleep. At 3 a.m., I heard someone at my door. By the time police arrived, whoever it was had vanished. They suggested a mistaken neighbor. The next day, I noticed a black sedan following me. 3 intersections, same car. That night, my home network logged repeated access attempts. Then a text appeared on my phone. "Where is it?" I packed a bag and checked into a motel under a fake name, paying cash. From a public computer, I sent an anonymous tip to federal authorities describing the contents of the drive. Then I destroyed my SIM card. It didn't matter. 2 men followed me into a diner the next morning. They didn't order food, just watched. I escaped through a department store service corridor and drove straight to my company's legal counsel, Sarah Patel. She took one look at the spreadsheets and went pale. "This is federal level," she said. "We're going to the FBI now." We didn't make it. At an intersection, a black SUV slammed into our car, spinning us sideways. Men approached. One dragged Sarah out. I crawled through a shattered window and ran. No phone, no car, no protection. I walked toward the FBI field office, clutching the hard drive inside my jacket. That's when I realized who had sent it. Martin Green, my former boss. Years ago, I'd uncovered financial irregularities on his devices. He'd begged me not to report them, said it was just tax stuff. It wasn't. I was grabbed from behind before I reached the building. I woke up zip-tied in a storage unit. Martin sat across from me. "I was trying to expose them," he said. "They're coming for both of us." I didn't believe him, until he cut my restraints and handed me the drive. "They'll be here in minutes. I'll distract them." Gunshots echoed. Martin never made it back. I ran. Hours later, I handed the drive to a Justice Department contact operating outside compromised channels. My life ended that day. New identity, new city, no contact with anyone from my past. 6 months later, I watched the news as a massive trafficking ring collapsed. Victims rescued, officials arrested. Martin's name was never mentioned. Neither was mine. Now, I live quietly. Doors locked, blinds closed, weapon within reach. Because 3 key operators were never found. And sometimes at night, I swear I hear someone testing my door. Slowly, deliberately. The message arrived on a phone that no one should have known existed. What would you need to do? I stared at the screen for a long time before replying. Because the truth was simple and terrifying. There was nothing left to lose. My name used to be Alex Chen. 3 months ago, I was a computer science student with a scholarship, a clean record, and a future mapped out in internships and job offers. Today, that person no longer exists. Not dead, erased. It started with a bully who had power. Calvin Reed, quarterback, senator's son, untouchable. All I did was correct him once during a presentation. That was enough. Rumors came first, then fake screenshots, then accusations so convincing they destroyed my reputation overnight. When the university failed me, I made a decision that felt justified at the time. I hired a monster. His name was Azrael. I told myself I only wanted proof, evidence, something to defend myself, and he delivered. Perfectly. When Calvin fell, I felt justice had finally been done. But Azrael didn't stop when the job was finished. He escalated. My accounts flooded with illegal content. My identity used to commit cybercrimes. My parents dragged into investigations. The evidence against me was flawless. Too flawless. That's when I understood. Azrael wasn't punishing me. He was reshaping me, stripping away my future, my relationships, my identity, until becoming like him felt like the only way to survive. When the police came to arrest me, I ran. Now I live between motels, paid in cash, using borrowed names. Every mirror feels unfamiliar. Every sound feels like the end. And then came the offer. Apply your talents as I applied mine. At first I resisted, but resistance requires options. I had none. So I asked the question that sealed my fate. What would you need me to do? The response came instantly. Observe, learn, assist. The first task was small. Tracing accounts, mapping digital fingerprints, identifying vulnerabilities in people just like I used to be. Students, employees, desperate people looking for shortcuts. Each time I hesitated, Azrael reminded me what waited on the other side. Prison, ruined parents, a life with no future. I told myself I was only surviving, that I wasn't hurting anyone. That lie lasted until I saw my first target collapse the same way I had, watching their world fall apart in real time, and realizing I felt nothing. That's when the horror truly began. Not when I hired a monster, but when I became one. Tonight, I'm leaving this motel for the last time. Tomorrow, I disappear completely. Not because I'm afraid, but because Alex Chen cannot exist anymore. Only Azrael's apprentice can. If you're listening to this, understand one thing. The darkest places on the internet don't just destroy people, they replace them. And the most dangerous monsters aren't born in shadows. They're created by desperation. If you want to hear more true-style horror stories like this, stories that show how easily normal lives can fall into darkness, make sure to subscribe to the channel and support it. New terrifying stories drop every week, and the next one might feel a little too real.